I'm listening. Let's
Absolutely.
get into it.
We'll start with Roy. Who do you have going number one? Big surprise.
Wow.
Pretty no-brainer. Alexi
Byfield, obviously.
Yeah, I don't see any way the Rangers don't take
Oh,
him.
there's not a chance, no.
Two-time CHL Player of the Year before being drafted. I think Sidney
Rookie of the
Crosby was the
Year.
last one to do it.
Yeah, Rookie of the Year in the CHL. Player of the tournament at the World Juniors. Can't go wrong with that pick.
Not
He'll
at
step
all.
in next year. He'll
Okay.
score a lot.
Yeah. All right, number two, boys.
All right. This one, for the number 2 seed, it's seriously like whoever the Kings don't take, it's going to depend like what Ottawa gets because they're both centers, right?
Yeah,
I can see Stützle playing a little bit more on the wing.
He is smaller.
He has the winger skill set more than center, right?
Byfield's got the size over him there. So that's why, for me, I'm saying Kings take Byfield. And also, we go to school up in Sudbury. We've seen him firsthand play.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
Yeah, he's definitely got more of like the Western Conference build, right? Where he's just a big kind of power forward type player, right?
They're next on Zay Kopitar, right?
Yeah.
They can prep him.
They have a really similar play style, so definitely learn under him. I got Stützle, though, going to the Kings. European guys, the Kings like their European guys.
They do indeed.
He's just more dynamic, I think, than Byfield.
Byfield's more of a project, but could turn out. I don't think there's a wrong pick for the Kings either way. They're getting a good center prospect.
Yeah, exactly.
I know there were some scouts that were saying that Stützle might have an even higher ceiling than Lafreniere, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, like looking at it though, we already know more what you're going to get with Stützle than Byfield, because Stützle plays in the men's league, right? So like you already know more or less what he's capable of.
Yeah, he's definitely more NHL ready, right?
Exactly, right? So it depends on like, I don't think like Byfield would need to be like in the minors to develop it all, because like seeing him play, like
he could step in right away.
I think he could step in right away, but like you got to ease him into the minutes.
Yeah, well, the problem is he's huge, right? But he just hasn't grown into his frame. Right?
That's the thing with Byfield. He's 6'4", but he plays like he's small.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't use the body, but whoever drafts him, if they can teach him into that, he'll be one of the top talents of the draft. This draft is so deep.
And he's a center, right?
So, exactly.
And you always want centers. All right. So I guess we basically touched on those two right there in one, I guess. Roy, you never said who you were picking for second. Who are you thinking?
I had Byfield going second overall, just from I've seen him play more. I think, like I said, he's more of a project, but I think he's worth it long term, and it's not like LA needs to contend anytime soon. So if I was them, I would go Byfield. Who knows what happens on draft day? And then Ottawa will take, obviously, whoever falls.
Yeah, Ottawa's got the easiest pick in the draft right there.
Yeah, Ottawa has to do nothing at all.
You just take whoever LA
Your fifth pick will be interesting, though.
Yeah.
I just think, before we move on, I just think Sens are like further along in the rebuild. Is that just my opinion, or do you guys think they're a bit further?
LA is just starting, and they have so many bad contracts.
Exactly, and they're all old there. So it's like at least Ottawa has young. Absolutely.
One thing to say about LA is that in a couple of years down the road, they're going to have either Stützle or Byfield, Gabe Vilardi, Alex Turcotte. They took Rasmus Kupari in the first round a couple of years ago. Like, they're going to be stacked.
It's going to be.
Yeah, they're going to
be something.
Well, but they got those big contracts in Doughty and Kopitar, right? That are signed for another 5 years or something like that. So it's going to be hard to.
But at the same time, like Doughty, he's still got it. Like he's not like he's obviously fallen a bit from where he was.
Yeah.
But like he can still do like
aging contracts are a debate for another podcast.
Yeah. Oh.
I think we can talk a lot about that.
Hot takes. All right. So up next, pick number 4, Wings. Who are we thinking?
Well, I'm pretty sure they take Perfetti here. It's been reported, right, that they're all over this guy, but Eiserman's the GM, so you never know. This guy could go off the board again, like Sider last year, right?
Absolutely.
But I'm 90% sure they take Perfetti here.
Yeah, I have the exact same there as well.
Yeah, I'm going Perfetti here. He plays in Saginaw, just outside of Detroit, so
they've had a lot of
it's
scouting
rumored
on him.
that they like him. Obviously, they've seen him enough to
know what they're going to get.
That. And I just think they have, other than Larkin, and like they have Zadina and Mantha up front as young guys, but who are their forward prospects compared to their D prospects?
Yeah, exactly.
They got Sider, Hronik, whoever.
Exactly, man. And he's probably the best defensive forward in the draft, right? Maybe Lindell too, but
they're both like great two-way players.
He's just got a game that's going to be in the NHL no matter what. Whether he ends up kind of busting and becoming a third line shutdown forward, can't go wrong with that either, right? So it's just a lower risk pick in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one. And the offensive upside is there.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I expect next year at the World Juniors, Perfetti to be probably a tournament top, like one of the leading scorers in the tournament.
For sure. Especially with a lot of the other guys probably going right to the NHL.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? He'll probably be one of the bigger or more important forwards on that team.
Absolutely.
Okay, moving on.
All right. Sens, second pick, number 5.
This one could be anything, you know what I mean? People have been saying they want Askarov, or Melnick wants Askarov. Sanderson was also rumored to go there, which would be a bit of a reach. But I don't
see him going higher than number 10 Sanderson. I don't see that happening.
Sanderson? Yeah. But he's got the most NHL ready skill set, I think.
Yeah.
Other than Drysdale, but he's bigger than Drysdale too, right?
Yeah.
But also at the same time, like for defense, you do tend to want bigger players, absolutely. But given how the league has gradually been progressing to more and more like small, quick.
Look at Quinn Hughes this year, right? Not very big, but he's a
very effective
quarterback, and he's solid on D. It's not like he's a
exactly
liability back there. It's just more of a modern defenseman, right?
Absolutely.
So who do you guys have on this pick?
So for the Sens, because they're picking third, they're going to get a center regardless. I'm putting Drysdale just because you want a top D-man.
Yeah, no, it's a good pick. And a right D-man.
Exactly. Those are hard to come by.
More valuable than those left D-men.
Absolutely.
What about you, Roy?
I think this is the hardest pick in the top 10 because after this, it's whoever falls. They take the best player available.
Yeah.
The Sens are the ones who are risking making the mistake here. So I don't know if they trade down, they keep it, they draft a goalie or what, but I have them going with Marco Rossi. I think they have a lot of young D in Shabbat, Brandstrom, Lassie Thompson, etc.
Yeah,
and next year's draft class is D heavy, and Ottawa will probably be again in the bottom 10. So I think they take the local. Well, not local. He played there, but he's not from there. Marco Rossi.
Yeah, the 67.
Led the CHL in points.
The only concern with Rossi, right, is his size. And is he going to be able to kind of make that jump? Because we have been seeing more smaller guys make the show. But
absolutely.
There's a lot
One thing I've noticed about Rossi is he's a hard worker. Even the NHL, I think, shared a video of him on Instagram just doing regular workouts over quarantine stuff. And he's got the core balance of like a freak athlete. Put up over 2 points per game in the CHL before getting drafted. And that's playing the whole year. Obviously, there's concerns there, but I think Ottawa takes him.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that either. I got Raymond. He's a guy that was kind of touted to go second overall at the beginning of the year, right? Right behind Lafreniere. He didn't have the greatest season, or not as good as anticipated in the SHL. But this year he started off the season great. Last time I checked, he had 2 points in 2 games in the SHL. He's got decent size. He's a smart player. Good speed, good hands, sees the ice well. Just a great pick in my opinion.
Well, the thing too about him having a rough year last year, put up 10 points in 33 games, and he's playing on Frölunda. And from what I know, Frölunda doesn't play young guys that much. They always want to try to win the Swedish league. So the fact that he even put up those 10 points, it's still impressive. And this year, that'll obviously go up.
You've got the potential, right? He's got such a high ceiling for, especially for a winger, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely. All right. Next pick. Ducks. Who's in?
You started off, Jake.
Well, looking at the Ducks, they already got some young pieces coming together, so they're going to be good in the next couple of years. That's what I think. But currently, their defense, is it great? No, but it's terrible, not by a long shot. So, for that reason, I'm putting Raymond.
Lucas Raymond?
Yeah.
Good pick.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. Like, I feel like if Ottawa doesn't take Raymond, Anaheim takes him, right? It's just
Exactly. Like, you want to get the next best player, essentially.
Yeah.
That's what I said about Ottawa's pick. Whatever they do shapes the rest of the top 10.
Yeah,
Exactly. What are you boys saying?
Go ahead, Roy.
All right. Well, I have Drysdale just because I didn't have him going earlier in the draft, and I think the Ducks go with him here. They took Zigra, playmaking center last year, who lit up the World Juniors.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I have them going Drysdale. I just don't think he's the best D-man in the draft, and I don't see him falling any farther than this.
Yeah. He's got the offensive upside, right? That's
exactly.
I find him pretty similar to Quinn Hughes, actually. Just in the way he skates, the way he just handles the puck, right? He wants to
skater.
Yeah.
Good comparison.
The guy that's with the puck all the time, right? So can't go wrong with him. But I have Holtz.
Okay.
I'm actually debating putting Holtz above Raymond. He had a better season than him last year in the SHL. Obviously, we don't know the situations between the teams and stuff. That makes a big difference. But he's a little bit bigger than Raymond, and he's more of a goal scorer. So you can't go wrong with that pick.
I think Holtz has started this year in the SHL pretty good too, from what I've seen. I think I saw a couple highlights posted on the other day.
Yeah, another really dynamic forward, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I've heard people say he's the best goal scorer of the draft.
And there's a lot,
there's a lot of goal scorers in this draft, so you get that kind of praise.
Jack Quinn, right?
Well, both the Swedish wingers, him and Raymond.
Yeah.
Any of those top three guys know how to score, obviously.
Jarvis can score too.
Jarvis, Jack Quinn, Noel Gunler.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys.
This goes on.
All right. So the team that can't seem to do anything right, Sabres.
This is where I have Rossi going.
Rossi. Okay.
I think he's got the speed.
Did we skip the Devils pick?
Sorry?
I think we skipped the Devils.
Do we?
Oh, yeah.
Devils are 7.
Oh, okay. So, Chop.
Yeah.
Chop.
The moderating beast.
Yeah. Hey. It's fine.
The Simp dad.
Okay. Ha 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 ha. Sim Sunday. Stay tuned. All right. All right. So Devils, yeah. Let's do that. How do we got?
Start it off, Jake.
Oh, I'm starting off.
You start everyone.
I don't want to start everyone. All right. So Devils. Let's see. Who would we say their top center is?
They got Heacher. They have Hughes.
Hughes, but I think they're playing Hughes more on the wing this year.
He was more of a wing this year. That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
I'm saying Rossi. Just so that way it's like it's looking more and more like Heacher, in my opinion. I don't think he's really lived up to his hype that he had.
Heacher?
Like he's definitely gotten better, but like in terms of like what his ceiling was projected to be, he just hasn't really developed a whole bunch from what I've seen of him.
Put up the points maybe, but he's got a really good two-way game.
Oh, exactly.
That's why he got that big contract last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's been playing on some garbage teams too.
Yeah, that is very fair.
He did have Taylor Hall, but
I mean, I just remember last year it was pretty like it was looking like Devils were gonna be a force to reckon with. But they had Hall, they had PK going,
and just kind of all their picks just. I mean, and then Hall left.
Just absolute shit show, without a doubt.
Worst case scenario for the season for the.
Exactly. So for that reason, I have Rossi. You want somebody who can score, as good as he sure is, like both ways. You want someone who can score.
Oh yeah.
And they don't have Paul anymore.
Definitely help out the power play. Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, to touch on your Rossi pick too, I think the Devils already have 4 Ottawa 67s in their system. Yeah. So what's another one?
Keep the chemistry there. Chemistry.
You just talked about scoring. Because of that, I chose Raymond with this pick. You guys have said how offensive he is, so I have him going here.
Good pick. That's the thing. There are no real wrong picks for this draft in the top 10 at least.
Well, we're not going to know what the wrong picks are for another 5 years. Right?
Exactly. What is looking like there's no wrong picks for the time
top
being.
15 that look great.
In 5 years when Lafreniere is in the AHL.
Oh. Imagine.
I got Drysdale going to New Jersey.
Okay.
You know, Subban had a horrible season. I don't know how much longer he'll be in New Jersey. And who's their best defenseman after that? Really, it's like
Will Butcher,
and David Sanderson, maybe, right? They're gonna need that top guy if they really want to rebuild.
Absolutely.
Drysdale's the only defenseman really in the draft that has number 1 D-man potential, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's who I think they go with.
Yeah.
Quality choice. Okay.
Now we can do the Sabres.
So now we're doing the Sabres. So, Jack Eichel, the GM of the Sabres. I mean,
GM, head coach, owner.
Everything.
I mean, that's what this draft is going to be about for them, right? It's just kind of pleasing Jack Eichel, make sure he doesn't want to leave, right? So,
yeah, especially with all the rumors that have been kicking up lately, where it's like he's not requesting a trade, but at the same time he wants to win because he's got that competitive mentality that you want on your team, absolutely. Yeah. But given how Jeff Skinner was this year, it's like
I can't see him being that bad again, though.
I don't see him being that bad, but at the same time, though, it's like, what if he is? You got to have something there that can help out. So I have Holtz going to the Sabres.
Really good pick.
Yeah.
Need a winger.
I also have Holtz going here. They need goals in the net. Offense. And like we said, he's one of the best.
Go ahead.
I'm done.
No, yeah, well, if he plays with Eichel, he's going to score goals no matter what, right? So if you get a guy with a pro release like Holtz does,
wicked shot.
He's gonna fill the net no matter what.
Oh, absolutely.
That's kind of the same reason I have Rossi going to Buffalo.
Very good pick. Good pick.
Kind of the NHL ready skill set. We'll see if he can make the jump just because of his frame.
Yeah. And he's a chance that you can have a 1-2 punch there.
Yeah, exactly. Another center. You look at most of the best teams in the league; they always have those, top 2 centers playing on their team.
Well, you'd like to think.
Yeah, and Rossi, I think is that guy for the Sabres.
Yeah, they've been looking for that second line center over and over again. O'Reilly, Middlestat. They traded for Eric Stahl, but we'll see how that goes.
I see Eric Stahl as more of a third line guy at this point, right?
Yeah, no, that's fair, and your Rossi pick makes sense.
Yeah.
It fills the hole that they need.
All right, Minnesota.
So, Minnesota.
We're all the same pick here.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised. They got good defense. They got Dylan Suter, Spurgeon. Yeah. Not a bad defensive core right there. But boring hockey. You're not having any fun if you can't score. So for that reason, they need new centermen, if you ask me. So here I have Lindell.
Lindell? I love Lindell. I think he's going to be a Bergeron type player.
I could absolutely see it. Just the way he plays.
It might take him a couple more years before he really gets into the show. But, you look at his stats this year in the Liga. They're comparable to how Barkovs were. A lot of those Finnish guys that came over. And he's a center. He's defensive.
Exactly.
Great pick. But I have Askarov.
Ooh.
I think they need that number one goalie. I know that they do have a couple goalie prospects pipeline, but you can't pass up on a goalie like that if you're Minnesota.
Oh,
he's a once in a generation apparently.
Absolutely. It's like the hype that there was around Carter Hart. It's just like you compare him to Askarov, like.
Probably, I bet Astro's probably even more hyped.
Oh, absolutely. It's just like comparing the two. It's like from what I've heard, there's no way. Like those two are obviously going to be the top two goalies of the league, like for the years to come. But if you're comparing 1-to-1, like from everything that I've seen about Askarov, it's got to be him. He's going to be the new Price.
Yeah.
Or when Price was top of his game.
Yeah. That's why I got Minnesota taking him too. You can't pass up on the opportunity to take a goalie like that. Like you said, there's rumors the Sens take him, so I don't think he falls past here. They want to get rid of Dubnyk.
He'll be there.
And
that is true.
And you look at all the other Russian goalies that have come in the last couple of years, like the young ones.
They've been
dominating, right? The two guys in New York.
Shesterkin
and the Islanders.
Sorokin, Samsonov.
Yeah, it's the future, I think. But.
They just have quality goaltenders pumping out of there, without a doubt. All right, so Wild. On to the 10th pick, Jets. That team got hit hard this year.
Yeah. And they lost a lot of defense.
Exactly.
That was the big criticism all year. They have a pretty high-powered offense, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That's why I think they take Sanderson here.
Absolutely. That's who I have going to. It's just quality defenseman.
Yeah. Him and Drysdale are probably, the two best defensemen in the class.
Without a doubt. Not a question there at all.
And for a team that needs defense like Winnipeg, I think that's the most logical pick.
It's like the only thing that really saved them on defense this year was Morrissey. The fact that he managed to step up.
And Pionk.
Oh, Pionk had a great year.
Oh, he was great. Absolutely. Yeah. Those two. If it wasn't for those two, they would have – oh, God, defense worse than the Leafs.
Yeah. Thank God for Hellebuck.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, he did a great
year.
He
deserved that Vezina, without a doubt. There shouldn't have been a question around it for the longest time. All right. Roy, who do you have?
My pick here is Lundell. You guys are talking about how much you liked him earlier. And absolutely. Winnipeg, like Buffalo, has been looking for that second-line center behind Scheifele for years. Brian Little isn't what he used to be. They had Paul Stastny for that 1 year. They made the Western Conference Final, and look what happened when they had a second-line center. They were 2 wins away from making the Stanley Cup. So I think they take Lundell here. He's a great defensive forward, and all of their forwards right now are super offensive. So I think he would just fit perfectly into their lineup.
Yeah, and, he's another Finnish guy to play with Laine. And just because he's defensive, he might pair up perfectly with him, right?
Exactly.
And just because Laine is just he's dog shit on defense, right? So,
but then
like that, kind of makes up for his defensive.
He's one of the worst defensive forwards in the league. Like you're looking at the advance.
They might have that instant chemistry just because they're both Finnish. Lundell's a good passer. That's definitely a good pick.
But speaking of Laine, rumors are swirling up that he's going to get traded. Do we think those are going to happen?
It would take a lot, right? It would take a lot for him to go. They're not going to give him up.
They want a young D-man of his caliber coming back, and I just don't see a team that has one of those D-mens trading them.
No. And also, given Laine, his bad season was him scoring 30 goals.
Yeah,
that's a bad season.
But I mean, they're not going to undersell him.
Not at all.
Then
he's still young, right? How old is he? 21? 22?
23, I think.
21, 20. I think he's turning 22 this season.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was older than that. I thought it was 23.
So, you know, when I think he has some like 180 goals
Already.
as a 21-year-old in the NHL.
Which is insane.
Even if you're horrible on defense, it's just there's always going to be a team.
On from the top 10 after that, it's just kind of all right. So that's our top 10. Who knows what the fuck's going to happen? Let's be honest here. Like anybody could go anywhere. So in regards to that, who are some appealing D-men that you boys think can make an impact in the league?
Go ahead, Roy.
What do you think of there?
All right. Well, first off, this is a guy who was really hyped up last year before he was injured for a little, had a below average year, Justin Barron. He's put up 19 points in 34 games in Halifax in the Quebec League. Just to note out, Halifax wasn't a great team this year. They traded guys like Raphael Lavoie, who brought them. Well, they hosted the Memorial Cup last year, but he was one of their top guys.
Yeah.
So they weren't a good team. They were young, and Barron had an all right year, but he was injured. Not amazing in his own zone, but with that being said, the upside still is there, and I could see him going anywhere after maybe 20. He could fall to the second round, or he could go in the middle of the first. It's like
It's hard to tell.
What was that?
You going above 20?
I personally don't think he should, but like you never really know, right? Look at 2015 when the Bruins took Zach Senyshyn 15th overall. if there's a guy there that you want and you're not afraid to take him, then you do it.
Yeah, do what's best for your team. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Without a doubt. All right, Omero, what are you thinking for defense?
I'm looking at a guy like Muka Madulin. He's not a super known guy, but he's a 6'4" D-man in the KHL. Left side, he skates well for his size. He has generally pretty good puck skills. I've seen guys compare him to Colton Parayko.
Good player.
And this year he's got 6 points in 12 games to start off the season in the KHL. And for young guys getting drafted, usually they don't get a lot of playing time, right, in the KHL. So that's just some good stats, big D-man. He maybe doesn't have that top pairing upside, but with a guy that size and with good skating, he's going to be in the NHL at some point.
Yeah, he's definitely a depth player that you would want, like your top four.
Yeah,
possibly third pairing to start off.
Jake, just to touch a little more on that. Not necessarily on this player, but I think a lot of these guys playing in the KHL or other European leagues, we might see them go higher than originally thought just because they've already gotten to show off what they're doing this year.
Yeah,
absolutely. Against full grown men,
obviously.
Yeah. And especially over in the K and over in like the European leagues, it's hard to score just with the bigger ice.
Well, so it's just a league too, right? They're not playing against like over here in the CHL. They're playing against some good quality guys, right?
Yeah, fully grown, fully developed players. Absolutely. So
that's what 6 points in 12 games for a
defenseman. That's
like that.
Really impressive.
Yeah.
Really impressive stuff. Well, for me, defense, judging by the jerseys in the back here, Leafs fan, heartbroken riddled. But if the Leafs do decide to actually keep their 15th pick, personally, I think they should trade it. They need the help now because this is their window if they're going to do anything. But if they do decide to follow through with keeping the pick, I am choosing Schneider. Now, this guy is something that the Leafs absolutely need on defense. He's a decent-sized guy. He's great defensively, and that's exactly what the Leafs need given, well, they got Muzzin, they got Riley. It's great top two. Not a bad top two. But after that, okay, Dermott. Okay.
For sure. I think that was kind of their weakness this year, right?
It was their heavy downfall. Like, you're not going to win a championship if you don't have the defense there. Because you had Barry, who I was hoping they would trade at the deadline because we're not keeping him. He's going off to free agency. Yeah, that guy's gone. He's going. But also, given their like massively injury-riddled season, they needed like somebody to step up. So that was Barry. Hall is decent with Muzzin, but also Leafs are having Mikko Lehtinen come over from the K, and he's like considered the Finnish Bobby Orr. I mean, that's yet to be determined, but
that's got to be the Toronto media fucking.
Oh, the hype that he got signed.
Like some 30-year-old coming over from Finland.
27. He's not there yet, right side of 30. But
in
regards, but in regards to like for drafting for the Leafs, Schneider to me is the clear pick that they should take. Defensive defenseman. He's not bad transition wise. I don't see them taking anybody else.
I just want to add a little bit about Schneider. I just looked it up, and if Schneider was born 5 days earlier, he would have been eligible for last year's draft. So he's actually one of the oldest guys out there. He's already 19. But with that being said, he has 3 years of experience in the WHL. So you might be able to get him over to Toronto, whether that be the Maple Leafs or the Marlies, a little bit earlier than some other guys. And I think that's good for a team like the Leafs who are trying to get in that competitive window now.
Yeah. They're in the win now, right? They got maybe 4 years, so you need to get probably some better defense later on in the draft, but that would be a little bit more of a project, right?
Exactly.
Like Ryan O'Rourke or Caden Gooley. I think those guys have a little bit better potential, but
they're not at his level right now. Absolutely. All right. Impact players that we didn't touch on in the top 10 that we think are worth noting. Who do we have?
I'm going to start it off with Seth Jarvis.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of a hard prospect to evaluate because he put up so many points, but he's small again, right? And that's less and less of an important factor in the league. But, if you have two players of the same caliber and one of them is 6'4" and the other guy is 5'9" or whatever Seth Jarvis is, you're going to take the bigger guy.
Absolutely.
But I do think a team is going to take a chance on Jarvis. He's got pretty good skating. He's been compared to guys like Gallagher just because of his work ethic and stuff. And he scores goals, works hard. So I could see him being a second-line winger in the NHL, and someone's going to take a chance on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely quality player. Once again, this is all a toss-up for after the top 10. No one knows what the hell is going to happen.
Yeah, some guys had him at 25, and some guys had him close to the top 10.
Exactly. Roy, what are you thinking?
Another impact guy I think that's in the first round, Connor Zary. I've seen, like Jarvis, he's all over the place on rankings. Some people have him just outside the top 10. Others have him down near 25. But me personally, I'm a huge fan of him. He's known for his two-way game, but he still put up 86 points in 57 games.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
also
– go ahead.
I was going to say, just touching on that, he was on the Blazers 17-18 season. He had 29 points in the 68 games. In that 2-year span, like tripled his point production in less number of games. So that doesn't scream development.
I'm just curious, Jake, do you have the Blazers page up or anything?
Here, I can bring it up right here quickly.
I just want to know who he plays with and stuff because, 86 points is amazing for a two-way guy on a not good team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you wonder why he's not going higher, right?
Yeah.
Well, and then you look at the rest of the first round, and then it's like, oh yeah, you got like guys like Rossi that could drop down to 8, and
yeah, exactly. It's I wonder if you merged this with the draft, the Dahlin draft, where Barrett Hayton went 5th overall. Where would Barrett Hayton go in this draft if he had the same draft season now?
I mean, I don't think he's better than some of the other centers like Lindell.
That's what I mean.
Oh, I don't think he's better than Zary.
Let's see.
So maybe in the 15 to 20 range.
That's where a lot of people had him projected in that draft too. It just shows you how crazy this draft is, where we have no clue what's going to happen.
All right.
In a good way.
So on the Kamloops Blazers, Zary was the second highest scorer on his team. First off was Zane Franklin, but he also played 6 more games and had 5 more points. So he very well could have been the top scorer on his team.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then also, after him, there was 81 points by the next highest. And then after that, it was almost a 20-point drop off to the next highest. Ryan Hughes with 66 points. So quite the substantial drop off. And the 2019-20 season, they came. Where are we looking? They were 3rd in the BC division. Their record was 28, 32, 6, and 2. So 28 wins, 32 losses, 6 overtime losses, and 2 shootout losses. But who really counts shootout as like a valid way to end the game? It's a skills competition.
I mean, Roy, why do you think he's, or why are scouts kind of having him that low then?
I don't know. I think people don't know if his offense will translate to the NHL. I've heard people think that he'll just be a 3rd-line center and that's it. But I think personally, like, he was on apparently a not so great team, under 500, and he did this with no real other superstar or star on his team.
Yeah. And also,
I think he can be a good 2nd-line center for a team in the future, and that's good to pick after 10th overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it never hurts.
He doesn't have that 1st-line potential, like maybe like a guy like Hendrix Lapierre has.
Exactly.
And speaking of Lapierre, that is another player who once again, he could be going anywhere. Personally, I have him going 16th, going to the Habs, because we all know how Bergevin loves his French.
Yeah.
Omer, you know all about that, being a Habs fan. But talking about Lapierre, Roy, we were talking about this yesterday, where he was initially projected to go a lot higher in this draft. Like, great player. Doesn't score a whole bunch, but boy, can that kid pass.
Yeah.
One of the best playmakers in this draft, in my opinion.
Still ranked top 10 by Craig Button there, right, at TSN?
Really?
Exactly. But thing is, concussions. That's what's killing him.
That's the problem.
So that's the question. Does a team want to take a risk on somebody who's already injury prone? Because the kid takes, 2 more concussions? Like, he could very easily have a very early retirement.
But I think he's lighting up the queue already this year.
Oh, in terms of points.
He had kind of a tougher year this year, but he's coming off an injury. But I think he's already at like 8 points in 4 games.
Yeah. Oh, quality player. Passing is off the charts. Like, any team that gets him, like, they have their new power play quarterback right there. He could division.
I don't know. He I honestly think he might be a bit of a bust. I see him like Angelo Esposito. I don't know if you guys remember that guy.
Oh yeah.
He was supposed to be the next big thing, and had a couple injuries, and now he's playing in the Italian B League. So at Montreal, I got Dawson Mercer going. The Habs already have a couple center prospects in Suzuki and Kotkaniemi. And Mercer's a right winger, so I think he'd fit better than Lapierre. He plays in the queue, so I'm sure the Habs have lots of scouts on him. He's smart. He's maybe not the biggest offensive guy, but he's a good second liner, projected to be a second liner. Works hard. And some people were comparing him, like, his ceiling would be some like Jonathan Taves on the wing, where he doesn't give you the points per game, but he's just a guy that you want on a championship team.
Exactly. He can just play like all ends of the ice. He can just very easily support the team in many different ways. All right. Any other notable players that we have?
I mean, the rest of the first round is really any of these guys from pick 15 to the top 10 in the second round. It's a crapshoot, right? They could go anywhere.
Exactly. No one knows. I actually want to touch on Askarov quickly. Insane goalie. We mentioned him earlier in the top 10. Well, you guys mentioned the top 10. I didn't. For me, Canes. That's who I'm thinking would take this guy. Because what goalies do they have?
I mean, they have Mrazek, but they don't have the true.
Yeah.
Like Mrazek's good and all, but like, he's not a true number one. And you got Reimer to like
goaltending.
Yeah. It's like Reimer's not bad, but they're both like getting up there, right? So like you want to have, because there's even been a report saying that they want to target a goalie this offseason. So why not draft one who's projected to be insane?
Perfect way to do that. The only way I see him drop into 13 though is if teams are kind of scared to take that goalie.
Exactly.
Like you got even Spencer Knight last year, super hyped up, and he still went 15th.
Exactly. But that's the thing though with teams, goalies never tend to go ridiculously high. So just like based off of
you draft a goalie in the 6th round and you could be, your next franchise goalie. So
Carter Hart went 2nd round.
First round.
He did?
Yeah, Carter Hart was a 2nd round pick.
That's what I mean.
What a steal.
Yeah, so every team in the league had the chance to get him, or maybe teams without a pick, but like either way, the majority of the league passed up on him.
And Askarov showing at the World Juniors was lackluster. It wasn't great.
He was 17 though. Same thing with Quentin Byfield, had a bad World Juniors.
Yeah.
Alexis Lafreniere had a bad age 17 World Juniors too. He came back this year, age 18, and dominated. So
the difference is those guys are forwards, right? So they just got less playing time.
Yeah.
Askarov, I'm pretty sure, was still their starting goalie, right?
Yeah.
For most of it.
To start anyway. I don't know if they changed that at all afterwards. I didn't follow Team Russia that much.
But he's probably the highest potential goalie that we've seen in a long time, right?
Absolutely.
I feel like someone is gonna take him in the top 10.
I wouldn't be surprised. I was just like, based off my rankings, I was basing off who mainly needs a goalie. And like from what reports I've seen, I feel like Canes would take a shot at him without a doubt.
Ottawa is kind of rumored to take him at 5.
They are looking to move on from Anderson, right? They're not re-signing him.
Usually at 7 could also take him, but someone's gonna take him.
Exactly. All right. So I think that's going to wrap it up for this. Next time, let's have some hot takes about the offseason, who we think can go in free agency.
Yeah.
That'll be for next time. So in terms of that, whoever watched this, hope you enjoyed. If you liked it, leave a like. If you really liked it, subscribe. Leave comments what you think, and see you in the next one.